Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today we have the Hinderer XM-24 Sheepsfoot. I love the XM-24. I have slightly reviewed it before. This is my first full review of it, but I did a video about my other one that I have, which is a vintage series. And I did a little video about that and why I named it what I named it and some stuff about my grandpa and everything. But this is my first full proper review of it. I do want to thank USA Made Blade for helping me get one of these. I did buy it. They did give me a slight discount in the interest of full disclosure. But they've been a big supporter of the channel for a long time. I very much appreciate them. You've seen their stuff in my giveaways and everything. Scott, hashtag witty or /witty, whatever you want to call him. Great guy. Love dealing with him. If you're not on Instagram, get on Instagram first of all. But if you are on Instagram, on Thursday nights at 10 o'clock at night, they do a really cool live stream, which is a lot of fun. It is not for children, but it's a lot of fun to go hang out at. And they are just great guys. I hung out with them a lot of Blade Show and stuff. And yeah, just a great company, great place to buy Hinderers. They do some exclusives. This is not an exclusive. You can get the Sheepsfoot other places. It's mostly sold out, but part of the reason why I'm doing that is because they just USA Made Blade just did get some more in today. So there are some available. I'll link directly down below to their XM-24/XM-18 page so that you can go check that out. Also, this has some of USA Made Blade's custom anno work on it, which they don't charge extra for when you buy the knife, which I think is really super cool. It has their version of the bronze. This is not Hinderer stock bronze. I'll compare that. I have the other two stock Hinderer finishes we can compare to in just a moment. And it also has their anodized hardware. I think it looks really, really cool. This is a stock scale from Hinderer. This is the red scale, which is semi-translucent. And I did not realize that, I guess, until I got my full track. I ordered it with the red scales, but I had already bought some other scales for it. And I don't normally like red scales, but I got that on my XM-24. I'm like, wow, these look amazing. And it does look amazing on this too, because they are, again, semi-translucent. And whatever color is behind it kind of comes through. And you can see that in this. So this red looks more, some people would say burgundy. I'm more of a Beaujolais guy, so that is what I will say. I'm sure Rick would roll his eyes at that, and so would Woody for sure. And I'm going to send him a link to this, so he'll probably make fun about the Beaujolais. But it's good wine. But anyway, yeah, I like the color that it came out. I think it looks really, really cool. I love all the bronze bits. And I just think overall the XM-24, I mean, if you like an XM-18, you're going to like the XM-24. It's kind of a timeless shape, timeless design. The XM-24 is just larger. But I don't know. I just really think this Sheepsfoot blade really suits the XM-24. I really do. We'll bring the vintage out. Yeah, it's just, this is the spear point blade that comes in the vintages. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that blade shape really suits it, even more so than the spear point or the slicer. I just think the swoopiness of it just kind of keeps it going, and I really do like it. And I like a Sheepsfoot blade in use as well. So yeah, and part of the reason why I got it, again, is I had this. I love the XM-24. I think it's a knife that's perfectly capable of being carried. Some people don't. Some people disagree with me. It is over 7.5 ounces. It ain't light, but other than that, it's not too bad to carry. But this one, I kind of felt weird carrying. I was definitely carrying it a lot. It's 01 tool steel. It's carbonized. It's probably not going to corrode. But also the walnut scales. It is natural wood. As winter approaches, I was worried about getting it wet and damaging it and all that stuff. So I wanted a user one. So this is definitely meant to be a user. Saw that USA Made Blade had them, reached out to them. We worked something out, and now I have what I wanted. But keeping with that looks thing, let's talk about the finish on this. So this is the USA Made Blade bronze. This is the Hinderer Battle bronze. This is on an XM-18. So you can see theirs just has a bit more of a bronzy tone to it. I hope it comes across on camera. It may not, but it's more similar to the Battle bronze than the regular bronze, which you'll see in a minute. But yeah, the XM-18 you see over here just looks with stock finish, just looks a bit more gray, where this just looks a bit more bronze. I don't know how else this. It's a bit browner, a bit bronzier. Now we will grab, it's kind of buried now, but I'll get it out here in a moment. We have this is a half track, but this is the standard Hinderer bronze. If you just get bronze, this is the kind of shinier, more bronze. And this is a USMA blade exclusive. This is the Warncliffe one. But you can see that's a even bronzier, but a bit shiny. So yeah, I would call this closer to battle bronze, but it's not exactly the same. Again, just a bit more bronzy tone to it. Let's do some specs and size comparisons before we get too much farther. I probably should have mentioned right off the bat before 5-minute fin. This is a very expensive knife. This is $595, $600 as near as not to matter. They are very expensive. They are quite a premium over an XM-18. You know, $425 for an XM-18, $595 for this. There's a lot more material into it, but other than that, not really that much difference in how hard they are to make. I don't fully understand that much of a price increase. I kind of thought an XM-24 would be about $500 if an XM-18 is $425, but yeah, no, they're $595. There's that. Now, as far as the other specs go, you have, we'll try to line this up against the edge here. These are all 1/2-inch squares. You have an overall length of 9.125 inches, blade length dead on 4 inches, blade thickness 0.185 inches, handle thickness of 0.6 inches. This is obviously kind of a bulky knife, and a weight, according to my scales, of exactly 7.6 ounces, which gets the golf clap because that is exactly what they claim as well. Size comparisons. We'll bring in a couple of the usuals, then we'll bring out some other stuff. Obviously, I'm not bringing out the small ones. It's kind of no point in this, but this is your Paramilitary 2 and the full-size Benchmade Griptilian. You can see it's significantly larger than those. Not dramatically larger, but significantly larger than those. Maybe dramatically, slightly dramatically. As dramatic as one of my aunts, but not as dramatic as the other one. That means nothing to you, but it's a very precise measurement to me. A couple of other large, kind of higher-end knives. We have the Spartan Harsey Folder, just slightly larger than that, and the Demco 8020. So slightly larger than both of those, but this one definitely not dramatically so. And now we will bring out a couple other Hinderers. You guys have already seen my other 24, so I don't need to bring that out, but we'll bring out the XM-18 again. And we have the, probably more appropriately, the full track. So you can see the difference between an 18 and a 24. And the sadly now is no more full track. I'm so glad I got one of these. So yeah, slightly larger than either of those, but pretty darn close to the full track. And yeah, noticeably larger than the XM-18. All right, now let's talk about this knife and performance and whatnot. The blade on this, I like Sheepsfoot blades. I find them to be very useful in, you know, EDC sort of task. This one is no exception, even though it is very, very thick blade stock. It's only 24 thousandths behind the edge, and it is a Hinderer, so it's got a razor sharp edge out of the box. I found it to slice well enough, more than well enough, I would say. Is it like a slicing dream? Oh my God. You show it paper and it falls to dust. No, absolutely not. But it ain't too bad. Definitely good enough for your kind of usual tasks, you know, even if you're just like doing something, you know, like cutting a tag off a t-shirt or something. I did that with this actually, and it worked perfectly fine. It's not good for really fine slicing tasks, but other than anything short of that, it's completely fine. One thing I do like about sheep's feet, I've pluralized it, yes. Very robust tip, and you can still pierce with this. You can see it still comes down to a pretty decent piercing tip, and look at the tip on that sucker. That will definitely go through a car door. White BMW that parks in front of my driveway all the time. Just so you know, dude, if you're watching this. And it's, again, that thick blade stock. It's a very tough blade. It is 20 CV, by the way, if I did not say that. Most standard Hinderers now are 20 CV. You'll see M390 and, yeah, the O2 tool steel like you saw. You'll see some other steels in, like, spurt runs and stuff. But now, most modern, made now, Hinderers are going to be the 20 CV. Yeah, I think it's a pretty great blade. it is very easy to get in and do nice detail stuff with. Again, it's not the slicey thing in the world, but again, it's not bad. It's really not bad. I keep saying it's not good, but it's not bad. No, it just really generally is. It's pretty good. If it was on a scale of 1 to 10 as far as sliciness go, I'd give it like a 6.5, which ain't too bad. That's passing in New York City schools. New York State schools, I should say. I don't live in the city. Why did I say city? As far as the ergos go, excellent. I really like the XM-24 in hand. There's a lot of jimping. That if I have one complaint, I don't think the jimping needs to be quite as aggressive up here. But a lot of people do. That's part of the reason why people buy XM-18s and 24s. So I completely get, I'm in the minority there. People like that. So I totally get it. I do like the choil on this. If you watch back a lot of my other Hinderer videos, you will notice that a lot of my XM-18s are no choils. In an XM-18, I prefer the no choil, but in a 24, definitely like the choil, just because it's a really big knife, and I like to be able to choke up if I have to do something, like this. It's nice to have that there. In a 24, I'll sacrifice a little bit of blade length to be able to get more control over the blade. On the 18, not so much. Like that's kind of how I fall there. But yeah, can't feel the pocket clip at all. I think it definitely ain't going out of your hand anywhere. Just this jimping on top's a bit more aggressive than I would like. That's about it, which is a pretty minor complaint. As far as the carry goes, bring out Yeo Levi's. Again, I think I said this in the intro. Not as bad as people make it out to be. People say, you can't carry the XM-24, it's too big. No, it's really kind of okay, other than the weight. Get your hand past it just fine. Yes, there is a pocket pecker sticking out there pretty aggressively with some jimping on it. You don't want to put anything delicate in the pocket with it. But other than that, you can definitely get your hand past it. It's totally fine. It doesn't take up as much room in the pocket as you would think that it would. It's just, you still have all that. It ain't bad. It really ain't bad. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be scared. It's okay. Action. This is on the tri-way pivot. This one is running on bearings. I will show you what one is like on washers here in a minute. Rockets right out. Detent is perfect. I have not taken this apart. Obviously, USMA Blade did because they anode some stuff. But yeah, just totally drop shut. Just rotate your wrists and it falls shut. I love Hinderers on the bearings. Almost all of mine are on bearings, except my other 24, which is apropos here at the moment. That's because I did a comparison with the Spartan Heartsey folder. I wanted to be even, but I'm going to leave this one on the washers because you'll see on the washers, this is on the bronze washers, by the way, not the Teflon. You have to give it a little bit of wrist, but not too much. So you can kind of get a comparison there. Do them back to back. Bearings versus washers. They both rock it out almost equally as well. As far as the deployment, you really aren't going to notice the difference. It's just on the closing, where this is, completely drop shut. That is not. But yeah, action on it is very, very good. I will say on the deployment, I don't know if there's an ergos or the deployment. I did mention the ergos. It's kind of aggressive up here. People always say, you scrape your finger along there. You don't need to do that on a 24 or an 18. Yes, if you go like this, it's gonna ruin your fingertip for sure, but don't do that. Just do that. There are a whole lot of things people complain about knives where my answer is then don't do that. You don't have to do that. It's when you have to do that is when you're wearing gloves. The only time that your finger should have to contact this is when you're wearing gloves, especially on the 24 with this larger flipper tab. There's no reason why your finger should be touching that. Just don't do that. Overall conclusion on this, yeah, the only issue I have with the 24 is I think it costs about $95 too much. It definitely feels like a $595 knife, but when you can get an XM-18, for what, $425, you're kind of like, well, is that half an inch of blade? Does that cost that much more? That's one thing I don't understand. When they made the full track, I totally understood why this was $595 because they milled the heck out of it, and the reason why they don't make it is because that was not charging enough. Bring it back. It's $700. We'll still buy it. But yeah, that's my only issue with it. It's a fantastic knife. I like carrying it just as much as an XM-18. In daily use, I don't really notice it being that much larger than an XM-18. There gets to be, for me, I guess, in my head, some kind of, imaginal line of weight of once it crosses, 5.5, 6 ounces. If it's 8 ounces, I don't really notice the difference. So is this a knife you're going to wear in sweatpants? No, absolutely not. Obviously, you pants yourself in front of your family, and it would be very embarrassing. And they talk about it at Thanksgiving until 2038. So don't put it in sweatpants. Don't put it in, basketball shorts. But if you're wearing normal jeans, or in this case, where this is going to be a lot this winter, in my winter jacket, I have like a chest pocket. This is going to be in there a whole lot. It's just, I don't mind carrying and using an XM-24 at all. Don't be scared. And yeah, go check this one out. USMA blade. Just got some back in stock at the time of putting this up, which is the 6th. Yeah, 6th at 7:30 when I'm recording this. This was multiple takes before I got this right. I kept screwing stuff up. And then one time, just didn't hit record. Sat here and rambled at my phone for 10 minutes. Hadn't hit record. But that is the life of a YouTuber. So yeah, go check them out at USMA Blade. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. And I've very much enjoy having this knife and enjoy having it for quite a long time to come. I've been Brian. Have a good one.